You can see we have so many instruments to look at, as in we have so many items to look at rather under the United States dollar. We have about seven events that will happen simultaneously by 1:30 p.m. That's a core PPI monthly, core retail sales, PPI monthly, retail sales monthly, unemployment claims, Empire State Manufacturing Index, and Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. All this will come out simultaneously by 1:30 p.m. That is less than an hour from now. And 10 minutes afterwards, there's also going to be a speech from Fed Chair Powell. But let's look first at this massive number of events that we're going to have. Now, if all the data comes out good for the dollar, then its color for all of them will be in color green. And this will lead to a massive, very, very massive bullish movement on the dollar. And if on the other hand, the data comes out bad for the dollar, the color will be in color red. And that will lead to a sharp bearish movement in the dollar. Because of time, we'll not be able to open all the events one by one to read out the details. You can only check, analyze whether it will come out good or bad for the dollar. Now, we should also know that some of these events are not related in any way. And as such, we may have conflicting data where some will be good for the dollar and some may be bad for the dollar. And that could lead to spikes in the market. But right now, I'll flip over to the chart and look at what the chart is saying for this afternoon session. And I'll start with the dollar index. All right, this is the dollar index. On the daily time frame, we can clearly see that price hit a previous support. Good afternoon, Madam Monaji. You're welcome on board, man. Price hit a previous support, turned resistance, and technically, we should be looking for a bearish movement on the dollar. So if the data by 1:30 p.m. comes out bad for the dollar across board, emphasis on that, if it comes out bad for the dollar across board, or we have more of the data that came out bad as in being more than good, then we may see a bearish movement on the dollar index, which will translate to the dollar also. Good afternoon, Daniel. So with this in mind, we can, or in view, we can look at the USD CHF, which is a tradable major currency pair. Now, for the dollar, for the USD CHF, price is also trading at a previous support turn resistance like what we saw, on the dollar index. There's a region of support here, and there is a region of resistance right here. So that means that technically we're looking for a bearish movement on the USD CHF. And we can still flip down to 4 hour to further confirm if we're anticipating a bearish movement or not. Because on the 4 hour, I'm seeing the formation of what is looking like a shoulder, a second shoulder, which technically would lead to a bearish movement on the USD CHF. So we are seeing a head and shoulder pattern on USD CHF, which is a bearish pattern. Now, this same pattern also is very visible on the dollar index, on the 4 hour time frame, just like what we saw on the USD CHF. So if this USD CHF, if this head and shoulder pattern works out just in line with the analysis, that means we should be getting ready for the possibility of a bearish movement on the dollar this afternoon. It means there's a possibility that the data may actually come out overall bad for the US dollar, and that will lead to a bearish movement on the USD CHF. Now, while we have been able to factor a direction for a potential direction for the USD CHF ahead of the news, the other instruments we need to pay attention to is gold. Now, gold has been trending up at some point, then it hit a major resistance level last week, and that led to some bearish movement again on gold up until this morning when gold hit a previous resistance turn support level. Now, that is not even the main thing. The main thing on this analysis is that the resistance turned to support, and price is now at a confluence zone, which is a point where price moving from the higher low joins exactly with the resistance turn support, giving us a confluence zone. And a confirmation to that confluence zone at the moment is the formation of a rejection candle or a doji on the daily time frame. Yes, the day is yet to be over. Anything can happen. It may change direction in the course of the day, but that is what I'm seeing at the moment. It's forming a rejection candle. And if you trace it down to 4 hour, it's actually forming a candlestick pattern, which is a tweezer bottom pattern. And that pattern will ensure that price, reverses back again to its earlier trend, which is a bullish direction. And another possibility around gold this afternoon is the formation of an inverse head and shoulder, which may also help to trigger price, way higher. So we are bearish on the USD CHF and we are bullish on gold. Finally, I will look at the Euro card. All right, so this is Euro card on 1 hour time frame. Let's go to the daily. On the daily time frame, we can clearly see that price hit a previous support, turned resistance, and the candle returned to that place again yesterday. So technically, we're looking for an opportunity to sell Euro card. And if we flip it down to 1 hour, you can clearly see that we have a rising wedge pattern just around that resistance zone that we found on both the daily and the 1 hour time frame. Now, price is testing the lower trend line. If a new candle opens at this lower trend line region, the next 1 hour, with RSI clearly below 50, it may signal an opportunity to sell the Euro card. So we're bearish on Euro card. Another indication that is giving me a bearish outlook is I'm seeing inside this pattern, this rising wedge pattern, I'm seeing the formation of a head pattern with it. And if that works out, that will give additional reason why this instrument is expected to go in the bullish direction. So we're bearish on Euro card. All right, so that's all for my end this afternoon. This afternoon, I've analyzed 4 instruments: the dollar index where we're bullish, where we're bearish, USD CHF where we're bearish, gold where bullish, and the Euro card where we are bearish. All right, so that'll be the end of the analysis this afternoon. Do watch this analysis closely, as the news approaches, and trade with caution. We'll see you again some other time. Bye for now.